been taken over by the Ashkenazi who converted it and won't let anybody into the religion that actually was theirs. In his raging anger, he has spurned king and priest. The Lord has rejected his altar, disdained his sanctuary. He has handed over to his foe the walls of the citadels. He has handed over to the foes the walls of the citadels. We're not in there. We're in America. Now we see who's over there now. They raised a shout in the house of the Lord as on a festival day. The Lord resolved to destroy the wall of fair Zion, the measure of the line, and refrain not for bringing in destruction. He has made all of the rampart to mourn. Together they languish. Her gates have sunk into the ground. It has smashed her bars into bits. Her king and her leaders are in exile. Instruction is no more. Her prophets to receive no vision from the Lord. Silently sitting on the ground, the elders of the fair Zion. They have strewn dust on their heads and girded themselves with sackcloth. The maidens of Jerusalem have bowed their heads to the ground, and my eyes have spent with tears. My heart is in tumult. My being melts away. Over the ruin, my poor people, as babies and sucklings, languish in the squares of the cities. They keep asking their mothers, where is the bread and wine? As they languish like battle wounds in the square of the town, as their life runs out in their mother's bosoms. What can I take as a witness or liking to you, O fair Jerusalem? What can I match with you to counsel you, O fair maiden of Zion? For your ruin is vast as the sea. Who will heal you? Your seers prophesied to you delusion and folly. They had prophesied that you were going to forget who you are, you're going to be delusional, and that your own folly will trick you up to get brought into another slave ship, or back into slave ships to another Egypt with yokes of chain around your neck. They prophesied this over and over and over again. They didn't want to listen. Even Yeshua told them. They did not expose your iniquity. They did not sit down and talk about all the bad things you were doing. They just kept saying that if you did not change your ways, that you were going to be brought in and be delusionized. If you do not remember, if you do not act different, God will make the nations forget about you and who you are. So, as to restore your fortunes, but prophesies to you the oracles of delusion and deception, because you will forget who you are, and Yeshua was going to put in the greatest deception in the world, where we see what isn't, and what actually isn't really is. And I know these are some hard-headed people for the Gentiles stuff out there. I know they're hard-headed. I know these people are hard to get along with. They're running around, committing all kind of atrocities. Why? Because they're lost. Half of the black people don't even know who they are. That's why they act the way they act. And when they do find out, they must think that it's something special instead of trying to do something right. Understand, I'm well-rounded. I'll talk about black, white, red, green, and brown if you're not spiritually in tune, because this is a altogether grafted tree bearing one fruit for the Lord thy God. Not no separation or no segregation. We in this together. Everybody has the role to play. Start playing it. All those who pass away, you'll clap their hands at you. They hiss and they wag their head at fair Jerusalem, because they can say, dag, are those the people? Can't believe the Lord made them the chosen people. In this city that was called perfect in beauty, joy of all the earth, all your enemies jeer at you. They hiss and they gnash their teeth and they cry, we've ruined her. All this is the day we hope for. We have lived to see it. The Lord has done, because of the hatred for black people. It's all right here. The Lord has done what he purposed, has carried out the decree that he ordained long ago. He has torn down without pity. He has let the foe rejoice over you and exalted the might of your enemies, that their heart cried out to the Lord, O wall of fair Zion. Shed tears like torment day and night. Give yourself no respite, your eyes no rest. Arise, cry out in the night at the beginning of the watchers. Cry out at the night of the beginning of the watchers. Pour out your tears like water, because that's just what the watchers did when Enoch had the petitions. They were crying, weeping, and begging for forgiveness. Please, we are so sorry. In the presence of the Lord, lift up your hands to him for the life of your infants, for the faint for hunger at every street corner. See, O Lord, and behold to him that you have done this. Alas, the women eat their own fruit. Their newborn babies, alas, the priests and the prophets are slain in the sanctuary of the Lord, prostrate in the streets, where they're just lying, where they're lying both young and old. My maidens and youth are fallen by the sword. You slew them on your day of wrath. You slaughtered them without pity. You summoned as on a festival my neighbors from round about on the day of wrath of the Lord. None survived or escaped. Those whom I bore and reared, my foe has consumed. I am the man who has now affliction under the rod of his wrath. Me he drove on and on in unrevealed darkness. On none but he who brings down his hand again and again without cease. He has worn away the flesh and the skin, and he has shattered my bone. All around me he has built misery and hardships. Like those long dead, he has walled in and he has walled me in and cannot break down. He has walled me in and I cannot break out. Sorry. He has weighed me down with chains, and when I cry and plead, he shuts out my prayer. He has walked in my ways with hewn blocks. He has made my paths a maze. He has lurked bearing to me a lion in hiding. He has forced me my way and mangled me. He has left me numb. He has bent his bow and made me a target of his arrows. He has shot into my veins the shafts of his quiver. I have become a laughing stock to all people, a butt in their jokes all day long, because that's just what happens. If we really pay attention, and you'll have a group in the nation of people and a race of people that sit down and go, I can't believe, I just said it. I can't believe that God made it into people. Look at how they talk. Look at how they act. Oh my gosh. And then all of a sudden, it's the butt of jokes. Do you know how many people sit back and they make jokes and they'll laugh and they'll talk about it, and they'll be the same people thinking that they're going to get saved just by believing, and you talking about God's people, and you're going to hell right there. Nope. Because they mark every one of your actions, every one of your attributes, everything you do in this world is accounted for. I don't care if you're black, white, yellow, green, or brown. I told you before, everybody has a role to play. You better start playing it. He has broken my teeth on the gravel. All right. He has filled me with bitterness, sated me with wormwood. He has broken my teeth on the gravel. He has ground me to dust. My life has birthed of peace. I forgot what happiness was. I thought my strength and hope had perished before the Lord, to recall my distress and my misery as wormwood, for the sourness that I am given to eat and the poison. Whenever I thought of them, I was bowed low. But this doom I call to mind, therefore I hope. The kindness of the Lord has not ended. His mercies are not spent. They are renewed every morning. Ample is your grace. The Lord is my portion, I say with full heart. Therefore I hope in him. The Lord is good to those who trust in him, to the one who seeks him. The Lord is good for those who trust, believe, and have faith, and do by works in him. It is good to wait patiently till the rescue comes from the Lord, which is why I say be humble and take the hit to the chin and walk in the word of God. If you are of a Gentile, make sure that you do everything righteously every day, every minute. We are in the last times. Let him sit alone and be patient, and when he has laid upon him, let him put his mouth to the dust, that may yet be hope. Let him offer the cheek to the smiter. Turn the other cheek, like I said. Let him be surfeited with mockery. Let him just ignore the mockery. For the Lord does not reject forever, but first afflicts the pardons in his abundant kindness. For he does not willfully bring grief or affliction to men, crushing under his feet all the prisoners of the earth, to deny a man his rights in the presence of the Most High, to wrong a man in his cause. This the Lord does not choose. Whose decree was ever fulfilled unless the Lord willed it? Is it not a world of the Most High that we willed, and foe and woe befall? Of what shall a living man complain, each one of us who sins? Let us search and examine our ways and turn back to the Lord. Let us lift our hearts with our hands to God in heaven. We have transgressed and rebelled, and you have not forgiven. You have clothed yourself in anger and pursued us. You have slain without pity. You have screened yourself off with the cloud, and no prayer may pass through. You have made us filth and refuse in the midst of our people. All of our enemies loudly rail against us. Panic and pitfall are our lot. Death and destruction. My eyes shed streams of water over the ruin of the poor people. My eyes shall flow without cease, without respite, until the Lord looks down and beholds from heaven. My eyes have brought my grief all over the maidens of my city. The foes have snared me like a bird without any cause. They have ended my life in a pit and they cast stones on me. Waters flowed over my head. I said, I am lost in the ships, waters flowing over my head. I have called on your name, O Lord, from the depths of the pit. Oh, hear my plea. Do not shut your ear to my groan, to my ear. You have ever drawn nigh when I called you. You have said, do not fear. You championed my cause, O Lord. You have redeemed my life. You have seen, O Lord, and wrong done me. Oh, vindicate my right. You have seen all of the malice, all of the designs against me. You have heard, O Lord, the taunts. You have all their designs against me, the mouthings, the prantings, and the adversaries against me all day long. See how at their ease or at work I am the butt of their gibes. Give me, O Lord, the deserts according to their deeds. Give them anguish of your heart, your curse upon them. O pursue them in the wrath and destroy them from under the heavens of the Lord. Alas, the gold is dulled. The base is the finest gold. The sacred gems are spilled at every street corner. Precious children of Zion, once valued as gold, at last they accounted as earth and